What up, what up? It's A Stoke G, back on the top, back on the video. So the title of this video is going to be, why should you fix your credit in 2025? So admin notes, thanks again, dog. Subscribe to the channel. I endeavor to keep pushing your vid out. Give you leverage, the better it sells. So let's get into it. So why should you fix your credit in 2025? So the economy, in my personal opinion, is going to start booming in 2025. I know a lot of folks are going to say that it's a result of Donald J. Trump winning the presidential election, 2024, and I would have to agree. He is a businessman, and when you check out, how the economy was when he was president versus the Biden administration, there's a difference. Now, I'm not saying that folks were not struggling during the Trump administration, the first one, but there were some things that were put in place that at the very least kept folks that had money keep money, if that makes any sense, right? There were opportunities that were given to folks as well that were not in the best financial space as well during that time. And I can also argue with the Democratic Party when it comes, like, there were certain things put in place that the Democrats really didn't have it in the control of when it came to the economy tanking during these last 4 years. But the fact of the matter is, when you look at both parties, and I'm not going to try to make this into a political video, but when you look at both parties, a lot of times the financial how should I say, the financial growth of the economy and how stable it is, a lot of times is more stable when the Republicans are in the House versus the Democrats. But like I said, this is not a political post. This is all about fixing your credit next year. Right now is December 2024. 2025 is right around the corner. And I'm telling y'all, fixing your credit right now is going to be one of the biggest things you can do for yourself and the most important things you can do for yourself in 2025. Especially when the economy starts to really start booming and really starts to take off. Because I saw a video a while back where this one gentleman was saying that the American population as a whole is going to start to become a renter's, not a renter's market. I forget what the terminology he said, but basically he was saying that a lot of the homes, single family homes and probably even townhomes in America are going to start being bought up by these corporations, and they're going to start renting out to folks. And it's already happening right now. You got whole neighborhoods that have been bought up by these huge corporations that basically are making renters out of people and folks not being able to have home ownership. Now, I'm not saying that home ownership should be a goal for you, because when you really look into the grand scheme of things, for a lot of situations, a lot of times a home can be a financial burden for people. I know the American dream is to have your own house and not to have neighbors that's actually connected to you physically from as far as being in an apartment, and you got only a wall separating you. And then there's certain family dynamics that it doesn't make sense, and it's not a big enough space for a family to be in an apartment. So sometimes it really makes sense for the family to at the very least pay rent and stay in a single family home, because it's just not enough space, right? And actually, that was one of the reasons why I wanted to get my home. And I'm glad I did, because, my goodness, I think I would be able to navigate getting a home still now, but, man, I would have paid so much more money right now. But yeah, I mean, like, family dynamic is a big thing. And, of course, what kind of job you have, how much income you're making, all these other things. But the average person, and I'm telling you, please take heed of this. The average person cannot navigate through life efficiently from a financial standpoint without having good credit, or at least decent credit. When you have bad credit, it is an extreme burden for the average person. The real wealthy don't really need credit. Now, I will say that there are a lot of millionaires that still use credit, but they use credit as leverage to save money, right? And I can get into that in another video. But basically, they use credit as a strategy to make sure they get the best bottom line for themselves. They don't use credit because they need credit. If you're a multimillionaire and you're able to put your money into assets that actually build money and make money for you, you really don't need credit. because you have basically your assets are your credit. You're able to pull from that asset to get money versus you going to a bank and getting a loan, which is credit. You're getting credit from the bank, or you have a credit card and you're actually, you're borrowing money from that particular credit card company. You have to pay them back interest, right? The rich don't have to do that, but they still use credit as leverage. They use it as a tool. But the average person that don't know anything about money, and and they're trying to build themselves up, and they're actually trying to get themselves ahead. You need credit. You just need credit, y'all. You need credit. And I have some videos that I made about a year or so ago that explains how to fix your credit. I think I'm going to revisit those videos and actually recreate them and actually add some things to that, because tax season is upon us, right? So this is one of the best times to get your credit right, is during tax season. But if you have bad credit right now, I'm telling you, it's not a good look. It really isn't. There was this one situation that I had long time ago, and I'll never forget. It's one of the most embarrassing moments I think I ever had in my marriage. Matter of fact, this was during the recession. So the recession, I think on paper, lasted from 2008 until I think maybe 2012, 2013, something like that. So this was like 2009. I was like in the middle of my tour in Georgia, and me and my wife wound up going home to Norfolk one time, and it was for a weekend. I think I did like a 4-day weekend or something like that. And I knew before I left I really didn't have too much money, but I'm like, I'm still gonna go home, because I think there was something going on that was very important, and I didn't want to miss it. But but being smart about it and actually and thinking from a logical perspective, I probably shouldn't have went, but I went anyway. So it was me and my wife, and of course my two boys. My oldest boy was he must have been 7, I think, and my youngest was no, I'm sorry, I'll take that back. So my youngest would have been 2. No, he was 1. I'm sorry, he was 1. He was turning 2, but he was 1, like 1.5, something like that. And long story short, we get home and our van broke down. So I'm like, well, shoot, I got to get home. This is the day of us trying to leave the home to get back to work, and I really didn't have leave to take. And it was one of those situations where I took a pass to go home, but to have to call my supervisor and let him know that I couldn't come back to work it'd have been an issue. So I'm like, okay, well, I can't get it fixed because I don't have the money to get it fixed. Obviously, I barely have money to even go home, and I'm like, well, I need to go and see if I can rent a van or a vehicle to go home with, and I'll just leave my van there. I'll leave my van there, and I'll come get it when I get paid again. I think I wound up getting paid, I think the week after or something like that. And I go to the car dealership to try to rent the van, and I had just enough money to rent the van with my bank account. It was going to be just a 1-day rental, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't going to be that much. And the guy said, well, you can't use a debit. You have to use a credit card. And I'm like, what? I'm like, the money is right here. Like, I can use the money I have in my bank right now to rent this car. Like, no, sir, you have to have a credit card. And, not here on my family, but nobody in my family had a credit card or was able to have their credit card available to me. And I didn't have a credit card. So long story short, I wound up having to actually call my supervisor and let him know that I couldn't make it. And I think I wound up actually asking a friend of mine to actually drive us back to Georgia. It's like a 7-8 hour drive to go back home. But the look on my face, the look on my wife's face when the guy told me that I couldn't rent the van and I needed a credit card, I could see it in her face. It was like a disappointment that I had never seen my wife's face. And mind you, we was already in a bad financial situation the previous year in 2008 when the recession first started. Basically, she gave me this look like I don't feel protected. I don't. This doesn't feel right. You know what I'm saying? Like, how in the world you can't get us home? So I'm just being transparent, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, those were some days back then, and thank God that I was able to to get myself out of the situation and actually put myself in a good situation now. But the men that's watching this video right now, just think about that. You know what I'm saying? Your wife gives you this look like she don't feel protected. She doesn't feel safe or anything like that because your credit is not right. I didn't even have a credit card. And I think the two that I had, like on my credit report, was charged off. I didn't pay them. I couldn't pay them. And it became a serious problem, right? So anyways, I'm going to make some more videos about this and break down some things when it comes to credit. But I'm telling you, y'all need to get your credit right in 2025 because you're not going to be able to get into a better financial situation without credit. If you're not rich, if you're not wealthy right now, you need credit. I'm not saying to abuse credit. I'm just saying you need credit to navigate through certain financial situations in your life. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things in life you don't even have access to without having credit. But anyways, drop some comments, comment section below. Let me know what y'all think when we discuss this topic or something that benefits your channel. Email at asog757@gmail.com. My email address is in the description below. Say So G, signing out. I'm gone.